The May update is here, and there are quite a few things to look forward to. At a glance, we have the Agir campaign ship, Italian destroyers in early access, new brawling seasons, a new 5-week calendar, and lots of new tier 8 ships coming. Let's start with the campaign ship, Agir. She's going to be at tier 8. It will be a German supercruiser with 9 305mm guns and 8 torpedoes. If you are familiar with the Siegfried, one tier lower, they share the same exact hull, so that can give you a pretty good idea of what the Agir is going to be about. Siegfried, of course, though, has 380mm guns and a longer reload. But I would expect pretty similar gameplay. Agir should be fairly accurate and pretty tanky, and she will also feature a pretty strong sonar, I believe. That's not the only new ship. Tier 8 is receiving a lot of new ships, starting with the Lapanto, an Italian battleship that will come right above the Vittorio Veneto. She is armed with 12 381mm guns. I'm certain they will be very fast velocity shells and have deadly AP. Good Italian armor that's trolleyed to HE spam, good maneuverability, exhaust smoke generators, and SAP secondaries, since that is what our tech tree Italian battleship line features. I don't think the main guns will have SAP. Italian cruiser Brindisi. This will be a further iteration of a mouthy and feature 12 203mm guns. They're going to have a bit longer reload, exhaust smoke generator, high speed, and pretty decent armor. Next, Petropavlovsk. It is a Soviet heavy cruiser that is going to come in right above the Riga, and this is a pretty famed ship on PC. She is armed with 9 220mm guns. She has insanely fast shell velocity, 995 meters per second. That will make her very accurate. This is a tanky cruiser with a low freeboard, radar. It's just going to be a very, very powerful ship if it's anything like it is on PC. Hopefully it will be a new favorite at the tier. And the Pan-European destroyer Smaland. Now, I could not pull this one up to show you guys on the PC, as I think it was removed or something along those lines, but if you're curious about her, think Friesland or Ostgotland. 420mm guns, just like Friesland, with a 1.7 second base reload. That's a 1/10 of a second faster than Friesland, and she is going to have 8 Ostgotland style torpedoes. They're going to be fast, but deal small amounts of damage. Her reputation on PC is pretty fierce, so I'm very curious what we're going to get over here. The Arpeggio collaboration is returning to the store. Now, from this collab, there were some pretty decent commanders in this group, chief among them Haruna. She buffed your secondary gun range and dispersion, so if you like secondary builds, that would be a commander to watch out for. She was pretty useful. The next one, Kirishima. So she reduced your battleship detectability after firing your guns. She had a special perk over here that increased AA. Didn't really use that commander a lot. Takao was a great cruiser commander and great inspiration that's going to improve your rudder shift time and AA. Her special skill here would improve cruiser gun traverse speed. So a very good IJN cruiser commander. A destroyer commander for the Japanese. There's a lot of these. This one I could probably go without. I don't think I ever used him a single time. And then finally Iona, which was pretty good for aircraft carriers, actually improving your aircraft restoration time. As for other new ships, we have the USS Constellation entering the game at tier 7. She's kind of like a Colorado, except longer, more limousine-esque. She has torpedoes and radar. A very interesting ship. A battle cruiser, not a battleship, meaning you're going to sacrifice armor for speed, and she'll be quite fast, 33 or 34 knots base, I believe, but she's also going to have a large freeboard and profile, making for an easy target, along with her lighter armor, so beware. Italian destroyers, they're going to be entering early access. Of course, you can pick them up through the crates, all but the tier 8. These destroyers have a special engine boost consumable that's more powerful than other nations, but it doesn't work as long. Additionally, the exhaust smoke generator, you know and love from Italian cruisers, is making its way into this destroyer's arsenal. Finally, they are equipped with SAP shells in addition to HE ammunition, giving you the option to inflict reliable direct damage when required. So what do we know about SAP shells? They are devastating to enemy destroyers or lightly armored sections of ships, right? So these Italian DDs are going to be really, really good in a 1v1 against other destroyers. But if I remember correctly from PC, they have really bad concealment, so you're going to have to be careful. I think it'll be a higher skill floor set of destroyers. We have another 5-week calendar coming, similar to the Hunt for the Agincourt, with the final reward being a new Italian destroyer commander Carlo Bergamini. I hope I pronounced that correctly. So it'll be available for this update only. You heard it here first. So don't be upset when this campaign's over and you can't get this guy anymore. So you definitely probably want to work on that 5-week calendar, which I think you basically just sign in and complete missions. Hopefully it doesn't ruin the matchmaking like some of the other missions in this last update did, but we'll see. Last but not least, there will be a new Brawl season, as well as frag counter camos for the Conqueror, the Napoli, and the Kleber. And again, these are the camos that came out for the Yamato, the Worcester, and the Shimakaze that display how many kills you have painted on the side of the ship. Really, 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 really cool, but also very expensive, 5,000 steel. Ouch. I guess if you already have Missouri, go for it. As for the balance updates, there are quite a few ships that got buffed. Very, very interesting, but first I would like to point out that the epic modifications got tweaked. So before, you had to get shell hits to activate your epic modifications, right? 50 shell hits for phase 1, 100 shell hits for phase 2, yada yada yada. Well, now it is set up based on damage, not shell hits. So for phase 1, you need to get 30,000 damage, and you'll activate that first part. 60,000 damage for the next one, and so on, until you maximize your module at 150,000 damage. So I think it's a bit of a nerf to faster firing ships like light cruisers that were using the main battery module, and it definitely sounds like a nerf to secondary module ships as well. But it will level the playing field for those who used it on slower firing ships. Okay, ships that got buffed. Charles F. Hughes. This is a tier 6 American DD that was largely called a dud on release, with seemingly worse stats and one less gun than the Benson. So here we are, how many years later, it's finally getting buffed. Its reload's getting buffed, and it's getting a pretty insane DFAA consumable with a 400% boost to shooting down planes. So pretty cool. It could be a decent tier 6 DD now. I'll be curious to test it out, although I still think Kid is probably the king. French battleships at tier 7. Wow, lots of buffs here. The Flounder, Champagne, and Gascon, all French tier 7 BBs that got buffed in various ways. Some got faster rudder shifts, faster reloads, blah blah blah. Most notable though to me was Flanders secondaries. They got buffed to 6.8 kilometers stock. That's really, really cool. That's what it was on PC. That's kind of what I hoped the ship would get released with, but it's going to turn into a pretty sweet secondary ship, I would say. The guns don't pin a lot, but I bet you they set a lot of fires because they have a very, very, very fast reload speed, and there are lots of them. ZF6 got buffed as well. Its HP increased by 1,000. Now, I already thought this was a pretty potent destroyer at tier 7. It has 2 gun reload boosters, amazing torp alpha, and a stupid fast firing rate with improved AP pin angles. Amazing destroyer, but now it's even better with 1,000 more health. And some of the Italian tech tree cruisers got some love with various shell damage increases. Of course, feel free to go read the patch notes and the Ministry of Balance changes for yourself. I will add those to the description of this video once I wake up. Let me know what you guys think down below of the update. Lots of new stuff coming. It sounds like a pretty good update, honestly. Very exciting. Lots of balance changes, new additions to the game. I would love to hear from you guys, and be sure to leave me a like and a sub if this review of the update was helpful to you. I would greatly appreciate it. All right, I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.